Hello and welcome back to my channel, the Art Archaeologist channel, here with Corey. So I wanted to do a quick flip through of this collage, junk journal collage page kit, and this is an 8-page kit, and some of you have gone through this with me and made your own things. And if you haven't done that, I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button below, grab your supplies, and go through these videos and make some of your own treasures. They are so fun to make, and most of us have all these scraps around that are just waiting to be used up. So on to the flip through. Here's page 1, and here's page 2. Now back to page 1 real quick. I did cover these with deli paper, and I show you how to do that in the video. It does make your botanicals look a little bit milky, but it does give an extra layer of protection. So I've sprinkled that technique in along with just Mod Podge only. So now this page 2, these blossoms were done with Mod Podge only, and the stems are very unprotected and vulnerable without the deli paper. So that doesn't really bother me because these are going to get scanned, and then these, I'm doing a botanical show in September, so I'm going to go ahead and frame all these, and then that will help to protect the stems. So if you're interested in making botanical art that you're going to hang on the wall and you don't want it to look too milky, I would recommend not using the deli paper and just using the Mod Podge mat and then allowing the frame to protect your art. So there's 2. And here's page 3 of this collage junk journal page kit, and this one is made up of 2 of my digital kits that are available now in my Etsy store. It's the Faded Red Eco Die Kit and the Deep Red Eco Die Kit, and I really love the simplicity of this page. I think it came out really pretty, and something I noticed is these drops that fell on, this is a inkjet print, these pages here of the faded, and when I dropped the paint, the bigger drops of paint on there, it actually looks like they fused in and became part of the paper, and I just thought that was a really neat look. You know, the other drops kind of look like they just don't look like they're part of the page, so that was really fun. So you can get this effect with your digital kits that you buy and print at home on your inkjet, so that I enjoyed. And this is a fun page. It's a little bit more simple than some of them, and again, this is page 3. And here is page 4 of this digital kit, and it's a little different. It's definitely not shabby chic. It's way more industrial, which I really love. You get quite a bit of variety in this kit. And I had mentioned in this tutorial video making this page that I was going to make a video on how to make these pressed leaf prints, and I have done that, so I will leave a link in the description box below for that. And then here is page 5 of the kit, and this one I went back to the deli paper for these blossoms. These are Cosmo flowers, and again, one of the petals fell off when I was handling the flowers, and I really love to just pop them in the art somewhere. And this one was really fun too. I used up this page that I'd been, this original, and I talk about it in the video, and you know, it's so, we end up with all this original art sitting around, and if you're anything like me, you're afraid to use it, so you have this big gigantic pile. Well, I've been starting to use a lot more of my original art lately, and I'm kind of sad because so much of it got hidden on this page, but it's still a gorgeous page, and layers just really make your art something really special. You know, if you put layers in, you're just going to get so much more depth in your work. So, and use your originals. I said in the video it's kind of like stepping off the cliff for an artist, and that is exactly how it feels to me. Now here's page 6. Let me pull you in some. Every page I make, it becomes my new favorite, and that was especially true for this page. I did a lot of text stamping on here, and I really like the gold element that was added into this page. And when you get the digital kit, it will show up, you know, the gold netting will show up. It just won't have the metallic sheen. So you just can't get metallics in prints, but it'll still show up beautifully, and have no fear. I really like how, now this one I did without any deli paper, but there's a lot of Mod Podge matte on here, which kind of creates this film over everything, and it's got a really cool texture to it on the original, and it makes the spatters kind of spread out a little bit more than they would normally if you were just putting them on paper, because they're not absorbing right away. Now here's page 7. I pulled out this jelly print that I made a long time ago, this layered grungy jelly plate print, and I got it in my head to do a mosaic type piece of art, so I chopped up this original picture of this leaf, and I kind of had a freak out about it. I was not really happy with myself that I did that, but in the end, I love the piece, and I did scan this before I cut it all up, so I can make prints of that piece. You know, it is really tricky to use your original stuff. At least for me it is at times. It is just tricky. Now I want to show you something really cool. If you have a jelly plate and you like to do prints on your jelly plate, these grungy marks here, and there's a whole line of it here, they're almost like chunks in the finish. That is from just letting layer after layer dry up on your jelly plate. And there's many videos on how to do this. And I will probably make one in the future, but right now I've got a full roster for videos. So if you don't want to wait and you want to do this kind of stuff, this comes from layering up your jelly plate, pulling prints, and not cleaning it in between, letting the paint bits that are on there stay on there. And then what'll happen is you'll put a new wet coat of paint on to pull a print, and these will start pulling up. So that's how that's done. Now in this piece as well, as you saw, I did the barbed wire. This piece was such a, oh, I've got to make it a mosaic. And I thought about it for about 5 seconds and pulled out my cutter and started cutting it all up. And then I walked away from it after I got all the mosaic pieces glued down, and I thought, oh, it needs something. Barbed wire would be really cool on that piece. So, you know, I think about these things for, I don't know, 5 seconds, and then I'm doing it. And I love how it came out in this instance. So if you have an idea, try it. The worst that can happen is it won't work out. That's the absolute worst that can happen. And I think it came out very cool for this piece. I framed it in pretty solid on the 3 sides. And then this jelly print had these really cool black lines that were in there already. So I just left those. And then I just did a couple little pieces of barbed wire on this side. I didn't want it all perfectly squared up, so I did a little bouncing around. So again, this is page 7. And last but not least, here is page 8. This one, the color of the blossoms really stayed. And when you cover it with Mod Podge, it's hard to know what you're going to get because it's all milky white And you need to have them covered enough that you can't see through the glue, because you really want to get a good seal on your blossoms. So I prayed, thank you for keeping the color intact on my blossoms. And this is literally, these pieces are wall art. They will all be getting framed for now for my show that I've got coming up in September. But you know, if you don't journal, don't let that stop you. Go ahead and grab your stuff, and summer's coming, so you can really collect a lot of beautiful botanicals. But in the meantime, pop on over to the grocery store, pop on over to the flower shop. You truly do not have to wait more than a few weeks. It really does take a few weeks to press them and get them good and dry, maybe a couple weeks. I collect them, I put them aside, and I forget about them. I'm very ADD, so I forget about them, and then by the time I remember, they're dry. So if you're really chomping at the bit, get out there and get some of these and get them pressed and drying right away, and then you can start probably in as little as a couple weeks, I would think. So if you want any instruction on any of these pages, I have made a tutorial video for each and every page. And if you would like to purchase this kit as the digital download, as I said before, the link is in the description below. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please click the subscribe button below, just a reminder, for more great videos. Thank you so much and have a great day.